We're back at Element Performance for the S2000. We've got a bunch of things being done on the car at the moment. I'll walk you through with what's going on. It's getting much needed TLC and long awaited, to be honest. We're starting with a bunch of parts over here. First of all, everything that is rubber underneath needed to be replaced. That's why you don't see the control arms. And we'll get to that in a bit. For now, what we have here on the table is the engine mounts. They came from Spoon. We've got also the differential mounts, which are also Spoon. Those are basically they're OEM rubber, similar to OEM rubber, but they're a bit harder. So they're not as harsh as polyurethane. If you are a car nerd and you've got nothing better to do, which you probably are if you're watching this video, then you probably noticed that something is missing from the stable, the transmission mounts, which have been replaced about 2 weeks ago, so we don't have to really talk about it in this video. Now, the last suspension upgrade I got was this, the Cusco suspension. This is the Street 0A, which so far has been serving me really well. After installing it and taking the car on track the other day, it felt phenomenal compared to the old suspension that I had, which was Aragosta Type S. But to be fair, that was basically on its last legs because it was a 7-year-old suspension. So this is a lot better. Now I have 16 points of adjustability in terms of damper adjustment, but because everything around it has been messed up, I can't really compare it properly. When you're setting up your suspension, the last thing you need is bad bushings, because even after dialing your suspension setup in, the bushings could move around and alter the geometry of your car, which ultimately ruins your setup, not to mention how horrible the ride becomes. This is where we talk about the next step. Down here we've got the control arms, which the bushings have been completely shot. The compliance bushing, the normal bushings as well, inside and outside. Those need to be replaced, and they're going off now to get custom bushings. They're going to be rubber as well, so they shouldn't be that much different from the OEMs. We got brand new ball joints last time, as you can see. All of the ball joints, front, rear, upper, lower, all of these have been replaced. And now we're again for the last step, just the bushings themselves. After that is done, we're gonna have a completely fresh bottom end for the car. I don't know if the bottom end is the right way of saying it, but essentially we're gonna have a completely fresh new suspension. All new ball joints, new engine mounts, transmission mounts, differential mounts, new bushings, and I don't have to worry about the tie rods because I've got that covered from my last trip to Japan. So once all of that is done, then we can finally go on track with no problems, hopefully. OEM oil pump and the timing chain tensioner, those two things need to be replaced on the engine because the oil pump is on its last legs basically. We've seen an idling oil pressure of around 15 psi, which is not ideal for these cars. Usually you'd want to see it idling above 20 psi when it's warm, and that's not the case with my car at the moment. The timing chain guides, the oil pump chain and its guides, and all of that front end basically has got new parts. All of these have been replaced. The only thing that's missing is the oil pump. Next to it is a brand new crank pulley with a new bolt as well. And got this based on a recommendation of a few people. Those are rigid collars. These basically sit under here on the subframe. The rear subframe gets lowered. These collars fill in the gap between the bolt and the subframe itself. So you don't have any of that movement anymore. So the car feels a little bit more solid. Now, I didn't know this was a thing with other cars as well. I only assumed it's a thing with the S2000, but turns out the MK5 also has a similar problem with that. Fast forward a few days later and Element Performance got everything sorted out. New bushings were in, new mounts, rigid collars were installed, and the car felt like it's brand new. Suspension got dialed in as well, and now only one thing left to do: put new tires on it. So I took it to a nearby tire shop, got myself a set of China's finest tires with a name that matches the S2000, and onto the track we go.
The track day was a lot of fun. The car is much more predictable now, I understand how it drives and it feels good, but it was obvious that there is still a lot of work to be done. Because 1, the oil temps kept climbing up to 125 and more sometimes, even before completing 2 hot laps, so an oil cooler is needed. And 2, I should have seen this coming to be honest, but it's probably not a good idea to buy tires that have the same name as your car. Right, we just finished the first session. Let's go around the car and talk a little bit about how the session went. Obviously, I have the new tires now, which are not the best tires. They're Chinese, but this is the set of tires that I could find just before the track day. Let's talk about how the car feels. The car feels great. It feels nimble, it feels stiff, which is good. There is one problem I'm facing at the moment, which is the engine. It's overheating. It's not the coolant, the water temps are fine, but the oil temps are climbing up pretty quickly. So I think the next upgrade is gonna be an oil cooler, because I can't do more than 2 hot laps before the oil temps start to climb up really high, and then I have to do a cool down lap before I continue. But hey, I'm happy overall because I can finally drive the car on track again, I can enjoy it, and even with those 2 compromises, I was 2 seconds faster than last year. S2000s are known for snap oversteer, which I'm trying to solve with an Uga solution, which is basically filling the boot with about 500 kilograms worth of stuff to keep the back sat down, which so far has been doing well. But it's slowing me down on the straights, obviously. For comparison though, with the new setup, I am doing almost 2 seconds faster than what I was doing before, even with the heavy stuff in the boot. Now the boot is empty, so we're gonna go out and see how we do now. Removing everything from the boot did exactly what you'd expect would happen. The back became light, which gave me a higher speed on the straight, but around corners, the back wanted to step out a little bit more. I'll leave you now with the fastest lap time of the day, which by no means is glamorous, as there is still a lot of work to do when it comes to my inputs, but here you go.